It's 12:11. Revo are receiving the pull, a perfectly weighted around flick from Manu and a crucial lay from Valeria save the disc as Revo progress and score. 13:11, game to 14. Fury return. Nazareth receives a pop pass, sends it deep to Thompson, who takes it down confidently.
Over the top and a Thompson underneath, and that is a delicious hold.
She decides her first spike didn't have enough mustard and goes for a second, hoping not to reap the same rewards as the last double spike caught on camera.
In the face of Gaten Vandenbroek. Laser, what a dime from Ochinski. It's a Gale Ansala hand block. Orlovskis is open and Sakai is done.
Revo moved the disc calmly, if a little cautiously. The disc gets to the sideline and Mangie turfs a simple flick to Torres. Finney ushers the Fury cutters downfield, loiters before they get there, and then finds an under to Harris.
Claim that one. Being picked up by Finney.
Harris finds herself in a pretty tricky situation. Marika Austin's cut is well covered by Mosquera, whilst none of the other cutters are giving her much to work with. The only option is Finney, who's making a subpar upline cut. Finney pauses in the lane and then keeps going to the front cone. Harris puts up a speculative shot and Mosquera rises to reclaim the disc for Revo. To look at this moment in more detail, why is there a poach block here? There's 4 contributing factors. The first is the inactivity of everyone but Finney. Every other Fury cutter looks unlikely to make a move, and when good defenders know their matchup isn't going to get the disc, they start scanning to see where they can influence the play. Check out how Valeria, Mangie, Manu and Ellie all look to the upline space Harris desires before the disc goes up, and their dishonest defense is rewarded. Another factor in this turn is offensive predictability. Harris is looking at a small sliver of the field and only locks eyes with Finney for the entire stall. Harris is making her throw up this line or she's gonna turn trying. Better practice is to face more infield and focus on getting off the sideline. Finney's cut length and cut shape are also a problem here. Longer cuts give heads up defenders more time to predict the play and get in position to do something about it. Finney's upline cut is also very acute. More acute angles require either a zippy and precise throw or a throw that sits higher in the air and arcs down towards the receiver late. Putting the disc in the air is great news for Elizabeth Mosquera, who's been led to the front cone space by Austin. Austin's clear to the far side doesn't warrant respect, so Mosquera can hang around by the front cone.
Going to work and grinding Mosquera with the rescue. And a timeout being called. And it's so hard.
The setup looks pretty horizontal initially, but does your host stack offense look like this, with the dump sauntering up the line and then cutters looking for tiny dishy upline passes? Revo's MO is to get the disc moving and keep the disc moving, and they're doing just that before the stoppage.
Oh, lovely moves from Valeria.
We see better shape from Revo's interrupted flow here, but unfortunately Torres throws it right over Levke's head on the restart and Michelle McGee grabs the disc for Fury. Fury's offense is touch and go initially, with Finney looking like she's using the force to move the cutters where she wants.
See her marshalling with the arm, pulling everybody under.
Before putting up a brilliantly weighted flick for McGee. Harris is almost stuck near the sideline again, but OP bails her out and gets the disc moving across the field, following her throw all the way to the end zone for another score, and spike number 3 is Universe.
Payne keeps Fury's dreams alive.
Off the pull, Revo already have the advantage. Valeria catches in stride, passing early to Manu, getting past the real brick mark and flow. Revo do show a lot of calm control here in the early stages of Universe, passing around and keeping the stall relatively low, whilst advancing up the field and never really looking like they're gonna turn over. The key moment comes when Yina gets the disc about 20 meters out in the middle of the field. She looks off Mangie and then manages to thread the disc between Levke and Ximena towards a bidding Nazareth. So what happens here? As Mangie has looked off, Yina pivots across and fates at Levke, prompting her to change directions, leaving Kayla on the ground and charging towards the open side. At the same time, Ximena starts cutting after Mangie is faked off, and it's not a completely unreasonable move. She does have separation and could be hit for an easy open side throw. But as they're crossing over towards the same space, Levke and then Ximena both pull out, and that leaves the door open for Nazareth to get the D. This is a pretty complicated miscommunication turnover, so let's dissect what exactly goes wrong here and how to fix it. Firstly, Ximena should recognise that Yina's eyes are not on her. She should check what Yina is seeing and make the decision to sit tight or cut somewhere else, leaving the open side for a very free Levke. Mid-cut, as Levke enters her peripheral vision, she has another chance to pull out, but she's unable to recognise this in time. Secondly, Yina's communication, her disc body language, should be clearer here. She should give Mangie's cut a clear fake instead of a slight shoulder shimmy. She should eliminate this confusing extra flick half fake before the throw, and she should not do another mini shoulder shimmy before throwing the disc, a very similar movement to her fake off of Mangie's cut before. Next, when Levke can feel the presence of another Fury defender closing in, she needs to accelerate and not decelerate. She knows she has loads of separation from her mark, so she should be confident and keep coming in closer to the thrower instead of trailing away to leave the door open. Crucially, Yina shouldn't throw this disc. Neither Levke or Ximena are confident in who she's throwing to, so she should fake it and look to see if they offer another definitive option if she waits just a second longer. Finally, late in the play when Yina winds up, Ximena has to commit hard as well, continuing at full speed to the backfield so Yina will throw more laterally, keeping Yina's throw away from Nazareth. Nazareth walks over the disc and worthily picks it up. I like Mosquera's poach to force the disc sideways here, but McGee earns a big under trailed distantly by Alejandro Torres. The Revo defenders are obviously scared of a huck here and are poaching in the lane and deep to try and prevent it. As Desmond receives the cut on the sideline, she dishes to Nazareth, who sends a high long flick across the field, and Mangie gets there first. And second.
Will there be the save? No, there won't. Oh my goodness.
After a bit of confusion around the injury sub, Torres swaps in for Mangie and the game gets underway again. Immediately, Revo are so disconnected here. There needs to be a greater effort to bring options towards Yina and Valeria here, so they don't have to rely on this rapid flick from Valeria. After a couple good moves, Valeria is in trouble again, but gets out of jail free with an insane driven around backhand to Yina. We can see a good negotiation of another cutting double commit here. Initially, Yina and Manu both want to cut down the middle of the field back to the thrower, but Yina adjusts her cut to attack the sideline, leaving Manu to attack the middle of the field. Yina actually earns separation amidst this chaos to open up the option for Valeria. Trying to bail Yina out here, Manu cuts for a signature tight reset, but calls foul after Desmond gets the disc first. I think the wide angle shows how Desmond is pushing quite a lot against Manu's shoulder, and she rightly accepts the foul call after a short discussion. Revo then turned once again, Levke not putting enough height on this pop pass and Ximena jumping to exasperate the problem. Fury are back on the charge. Payne grabs a big under with Ximena flying past her inside shoulder, and OP uses this opportunity to put it deep to Lisa Cooper for the win. When the disc goes up, and for a good few seconds afterwards, Manu's jogging, but as she sees how much it's floating, Manu charges in and elevates for the D, clattering her teammate in the process. Yina truly does fantastically to box out Cooper, getting to the right side at the last possible moment. She'd likely get the D without Manu's heroics, but regardless, the effort is appreciated. Payne's huck just hung in the air too long, and the IO fade at the end of the throw played right into Revo's hands. Valeria checks the disc back in and throws a signature no pivot backhand to Levke in the middle of the field. Then it looks like there's yet another Revo turn, but Levke calls foul. To be a foul here, the contact has to occur before the release and Helton must not be static. The wide angle clearly shows Helton lunge to get a hand in, and it seems to be before the release of the disc, so it's a foul and Helton rightly accepts Levke's foul call. After some more Revo small ball, Manu finds a backhand to Levke, she follows it, receives the pop pass and sends it to a streaking deep Mosquera.
Manuela Cardenas opens up to Mosquera. Is this the moment? It's not!
It bounces just out of the hands of Ellie, and it's advantage Fury once again. Forced to swing the disc initially from Revo's smart handler poaches, Nazareth eventually gets the disc and lines up yet another cross-field flick.
Oh, and in comes the block, cuts the hin and gets big, turns around, and that is goal for Revolution!
What a fantastic moment. You have to say that Nazareth really should swing this pass early and not get greedy looking upfield, especially when a similar situation led to a turn earlier in the point. It's great work from Revo to immediately capitalise, with Yina running through and Valeria running and releasing super fast to not let any defenders set up. Many teams would be tempted to slow everything down, but Revo excellently used the split-second head start they have to score. It also has to be said that it's not 100% clear that Yina is in the end zone here. Nazareth looks like she wants to make a call, but decides against it. It's certainly very close, and Yina could probably hit an easy throw to Ellie if it wasn't in, but who knows what would have happened, especially in this game and especially in this point. This 40 turnover game may not be as clean as, say, Worlds 2016 or the World Games bronze medal match, for example, but it's perhaps the most entertaining Ultimate game of all time. It had us all on the edge of our seat, shouting, cheering on our favourites, and hoping simultaneously that it would end and that it would go on forever. If you haven't watched the full game yet, you absolutely have to. Links in the description. Strategically, there's a lot to say about Revo's performance in the final points. The poached D on the upline throw to Finney is a fantastic example of heads-up defense, and the handler poaching in the final point was a smart and effective way to slow down Fury by shrinking throwing lanes and encouraging Fury to swing the disc. On the other hand, there's some poor turns from Revo, some execution errors, a miscommunication turn, and at times it felt like Revo players were not quite speaking the same language with their fakes and throws. One of the best things about this final sequence is that all the Revo players we know and love have a fantastic moment where they demonstrate their skills in the most crucial moment. We're incredibly lucky to see all these fantastic players play together. Congratulations to the Champions Revolution, and we'll leave you with Manu telling you what it means to them. See you next time.
Finally, we have been building this for years. I've been in this team for 12 years. First thing I remember that Mauricio said, I created this team to be the world champion. We have been 2014, 2018 last year, and finally we get it. It has been like a long process that started in juniors in 2010 when we won the first goal for Colombia. So it has been a long journey. So I think we deserve it, and we finally get it. And can I say some hi to my family? Mamá, papá, Miguel, Joan, familia, los amo mucho, para todo el Ultimate colombiano. Gracias.
And as Manuela Cardenas will thank her family for their support, we have to thank these two teams for giving us such an incredible women's final.